Welcome, everyone. Welcome, good evening, and welcome to the show. And as you can see, our flag. That's what we're going to be going on about tonight. But please like and subscribe, follow all our links and that. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to us. When Paul gets going, I'm going to go to my phone and do some sharing, but we'll get to that in a minute. So welcome to the show, 8 p.m. live every Tuesday without fail we go. I'll be live on Friday with another show on Unapologetic, and there's a few people getting it this week. Not badly, but they're going to be getting a good verbal bashing because they're untrustworthy in that. There's been a big demonstration in London. We was going to get someone on who's went to the demonstration, but as per usual, the media are throwing a spin on it and stuff like that. And I don't know if people have seen, but Trevor Phillips, a good story around Trevor Phillips, we'll get to it one day, did a big statement on Sky, and Sky have took that statement off all their channels, you know, and no matter who is doing the march or whatever, the hypocrisy of our media and the biasness on them is unbelievable. But we're on our flags today. Let's get over to Paul. There you go, Paul.
The Union flag, what a sight. Right across the nation. It's on lampposts, it's out of windows. People are draped in the Union flag. There it is in the background, the red, white and blue. What a flag. It inspires us, doesn't it? And it also draws us. It's like a magnet to the British people. That flag has a history, a long, long history. The oldest part of the flag, and not many people know this, is the Saltire, the cross of St. Andrew. Now, you might think, why is St. Andrew the patron saint of Scotland? It's because of a battle. No one's sure when this battle took place. I've seen figures, it was in 832. Some people think it was in 932. But it was at a place called Athelstan Ford. It sort of gives it away to a degree because Athelstan was the king of the Saxons in 932. So it's probably 932. And he won the Battle of Brunnaber and became king of all Britons. But the Picts, who lived in the east of Scotland, the Scots were Irish and they come over and conquered Scotland from the west. But the Picts, who lived in the east, they weren't prepared to submit to Athelstan, even though he'd won that crucial battle. And they raised an army and challenged them in Lothian, near Edinburgh, East Lothian, at a place called Athelstan Ford. Now, the king of the Picts, he had a vision before the battle. In his dream, he saw the flag of St. Andrew before the Picts, leading them to victory. And when he woke up the next morning, he gathered all his forces. It's partly legend, partly history. And he looked up into the sky, and there were white clouds in the sky, and they were shaped in the form of the cross of St. Andrew, which is the Saltire, the white cross. The clouds were shaped in the heavens, and the sky was a dark blue. And he said, "This is our flag. This is our ensign. This is our victory." And inspired by that, the Picts defeated the Saxons and saved East Lothian its independence. And ever since that day, the Scots have regarded the cross of St. Andrew, the Saltire, as their national flag. And it's the oldest flag in the whole of Europe. The whole oldest national flag is the Saltire. So it's an ancient flag, and it's the background of the Union flag. It's the background of our national flag. Now, when the two crowns converged with the accession of James VI of Scotland to the crown of England after Queen Elizabeth II in 1603. So we've left here over 700 years. This is the history of our flag. This is the history of our nation, of our peoples. These are our tribes: Picts, Scots, Saxons, Englishmen. And King James, the first who translated the Bible, the King James Version, the sort of essential version of the Bible. He became the king of the United Kingdoms of Scotland and England. And so on the Psalter, he imposed the cross of St. George. The cross of St. George had been the national English flag since the Third Crusade of Richard III. The Crusaders wore the cross of St. George. It was the cross of the Christian martyrs. It was the cross of the Christian soldiers. It was the cross of the militant Christian. You see, the Psalter, St. Andrew, and St. George, they were martial flags. And they were very vivid, red, white, and blue. And this became the Union Jack. Jack coming from King James. His nickname was Jack. And so we had this flag, the Union Jack, and it flew across our nations. Scotland and England became one. But then in 1801, Ireland was unified with Scotland and England. The three kingdoms come together, and they needed to put an Irish flag on the Union Jack. And they chose the cross of St. Patrick. Now, it's interesting this because the traditional flag for Ireland was the harp, the golden harp, not on a green background, but on a yellow background. That's important. I'll explain that later. But they got the cross of St. Patrick, because St. Patrick converted the Irish to Christianity, from the family flag of the Fitzgerald family, which was a red St. Patrick's cross, again a Psalter diagonal on a green background. And they took that. The Fitzgeralds were the leading family of Ireland. They were like the governors of Ireland. And they took that from the Fitzgerald flag, the St. Patrick cross, and put it on the background of the Union flag. It's not the Union Jack, it's the Union flag. And it became symbol of all the people of the British Isles: Irish, Scots, Welsh, and English, the British. And this is our flag. And this flag has been taken across the globe, the glory days of the British Empire. It has been flown in battle after battle. You know, you think about Wolfe capturing Canada from the French, the Battle of Mont Abraham in Quebec, 1757. You think about the Clive of India defeating the French at Calcutta, the 7 Years' War, the British Raj coming to the fore. In many ways, the Union flag became the symbol of the British at war with the French. The French, at the time, the French had the Fleur de Lille. They were a Catholic power. We were a Protestant power, and our flag was a Christian flag. And it was flown across the globe. And of course, today it's on the flags of Australia and New Zealand. It used to be on the flag of Canada, still on the flag of many Pacific islands like Fiji and Tuvalu and Vanuatu. They have the Union flag. It used to be on the flag of South Africa. It used to be on the flag of so many different colonies. And it is known throughout the world. It's the most famous flag in the world, without a doubt, the Union Jack, the Union flag. And of course, it has many different varieties. You have the white ensign for the Royal Navy, the red ensign for the Merchant Marine. You know, it's there. It's at the heart of our nationhood. It's who we are. But most important, and you'll agree with this, Pat, and I'll let you speak now. Most important, it's the flag of the British people. It's the people's flag. When we fought in the First World War, going over the top, that incredible sacrifice we made. A war I wish we hadn't been involved in. But the British lads, they fought behind the Union flag. It's always been our national flag. The people have adopted it. You see, the red in the flag represents the people. It represents the blood of Christ, but it represents the social, the people. The blue in the flag, it represents God in many ways. We are a nation, one nation under God. I mean, the Americans use that, but it's the same here. The blue is the sign of eternity, but it's also the conservatism, the moral uprightness of the traditional British people, the blue. And the white, it represents in many ways the peace, the social peace, which we've had in these islands for so long, which we're now losing because we're being invaded. So the flag, when you see it, remember, it's got a history, and the history is the people of these nations. And indeed, in many ways, it's the history of the world, but it's our flag, and we're reclaiming it, and we love to see it. They tried to impose different flags upon us. The EU, with its 12 stars on a blue background. We've seen this gay flag being flown, or the trans flag, or foreign flags, the Palestinian flag, the Jewish flag. No, we want the Union Jack to fly in our land. And it's great to see the young people, it's mainly young people, have gone out to these lampposts and got it flying with the cross of St. George, the Saltire of St. Andrew. And then Northern Ireland, of course, we have the cross of St. George with the red hand of Ulster on. And these are all our home countries, but we're all united under the Union flag. And it's inspired me, and it's inspiring this nation. The reason there were millions in London, and there were millions in London, they came from everywhere. Most people couldn't even get into the demonstration or the parade because there's just too many people there. They saw the flag. The flags of that demo were incredible. It was a sea of Union flags, a sea of St. George crosses. And what a sight to behold. It was like the reconquest of London. You know, we've had the foreign invasion. The invaders think they've taken us, but the British have been stared. And they're being stared now like never before. And the word goes out as it's gone through the ages. No surrender. We will reclaim our land. Pat?
Yes. Raise the colours is the current protest which is going on, and it's a real delight to see across the country for me and probably every other patriot. You know, I live in an area just near Islington. There was recently the Battle of Amwell Street, where the flags have been going up. The lefties have been turning up in the middle of the night dressed up as council workers trying to take the flags down. Well, they did take the flags down. And then official Islington Council people came along to take them down. And it's just there's something happening at the moment. And I think they're not going to be able to turn it around. And I was thinking about it today, about this stream, and the time has come where people are kind of looking to the flag for protection. They're looking to the flag for faith. They're looking to the flag to belong. And, you know, recently we saw in Ballymena, when there was serious trouble because of sexual assaults by immigrant Roma families in the area, it got so serious that even immigrants were putting Union flags in their windows to prove their loyalty to the local community. And as we all know, that's nothing new in Northern Ireland, but it's spread right across the United Kingdom now, and even into the Republic as well, which is good because they've started flying their flag in the Republic. And but just going back to the history of the flags, what I found out recently, which is quite interesting, is you know, I love the St. George flag. I consider myself English first, British second. You know, I found out something quite interesting, that the English flag, the nation of England, didn't use the St. George cross until around 1550, something like that, the 1500s. Before that, it was all different flags of different kings of England, but it wasn't they didn't unify under the St. George Cross until the 1500s. Now, the St. George Cross has only been used as a national flag for the National Army, etc., for around 50 years, because in 1606, the St. George Cross and the Saltire, like Paul just explained, was put together as one flag, and that was the Union Jack. And then later on in 1800, it was the St. Patrick's flag was added to make it look even better, the flag, in my opinion. If you look through some old history books and stuff, you will see the British Army with just the Union Jack without the St. Patrick's Cross. It's just the St. George and the St. Andrews. But what I found out recently, I was quite surprised that the glorious St. George flag, I thought it was used for much longer as an official national flag. And it was only maybe at the most 100 years it was used for as our national army flag. So it was the St. George Cross, then it went to the Union Jack of England and Scotland, then it went to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, of the whole of Ireland actually. So in the British Army, you got the is it the Royal Irish? Is it the Irish Guards, Paul? And the St. Patrick, that's their flag, the St. Patrick's flag. So you still get people from the south joining the British Army, and that is their flag, the regimental flag, so to speak. So but this whole campaign with the flag raising going on, there's nothing wrong with it. It's quite a natural human thing to do. Humans are very territorial, we're very tribal, and it's a natural thing to do to look to your family, to your tribe, to your nation. And not only that, as we all know, all of our flags are Christian crosses. The St. Patrick's flag, St. Andrew's flag, St. George. So these people, these lefties, they absolutely hate our flag because they hate Christianity, they hate patriotism, they don't want us to be united because they're deep down they're communists and they're completely against borders. They don't want separate tribes. They seem to think that we can be all molded into one blob, which is been that's in the Bible. Is basically what's that part in the Bible, Paul? Sodom and Gomorrah.
Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel, where they all thought they could unite without God.
Yeah, and we should respect everyone's different cultures and different languages, but they need to be in their separate borders, and that's as simple as that. And so yeah, at the end of the day, it's a glorious time at the moment. There's an uprising going on. And, I've said it before, the ship is sliding to the right and there's nothing they can do about it. And, we're sliding towards a patriotic Christian nationalist government, in my opinion, because there's also a Christian revival going on. There's more and more people talking about Christianity. They want that march the other day. There was a lot of people carrying Christian crosses, not nothing to do with flags, just literally a Christian cross representing the cross where Jesus gave his life to the world, to every nation on this planet. And, it's a glorious sight to see this because, there is hope. A lot of people think that there's no hope and, our country's finished. We've only got 4 years left. That is a load of rubbish. All these people keep saying this about reform and advance UK. We've only got 4 years to solve this. We haven't just got 4 years. We're going to solve it. No matter how long it takes, it will be solved. But the only way it's going to be solved is by the re-establishment of Jesus Christ in this country. And there's, Jesus Christ built this great nation. Only Jesus Christ can save this nation. And it's as simple as that. And Christianity produces strong families. Strong families require strong borders. They demand strong borders. It's not a coincidence we've got open borders downstream from removing Christianity from society. So I'm really optimistic about everything. Our party's doing really well. We're looking forward to the elections in May. We've got a new candidate in the Amwell Street area of Islington. A brave lady stepped forward, and we're looking forward to that because I was literally praying to Jesus to get us a candidate in, because it's the ward right next to my ward, and it's in South Islington, and South Islington is one of the last predominantly white working class areas in London. Bermondsley's one, South Islington's the other. There's like Camden's a little bit as well. So I really wanted a candidate next to my ward in case I do win. Miracles do happen. In Jesus' name, they do happen. And because the MP in Islington South is Emily Thornberry, and also Owen Jones lives there as well in that particular ward. So I think he does. I'm not 100% sure. So it's going to be shockwaves to the left once they see our candidate there. National Housing Party, no more refugees will be on the ballot paper. We've had enough. Like, we have literally had enough of this crap. And we need to stand up and tell them. Emily Thornberry, Owen Jones, how many you got in your house? None. But you expect the working class to deal with it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the elections next May. We should have maybe 9 candidates in London. We've got the mighty John Lawrence in Oldham. We've got the formidable Angela Kingston in Grimsby. And we've got 2 other hopeful candidates. Looking forward to them for the 2027 elections. So we do need donations if you can help us. We have got merchandise for sale as well, which I'll show you in a minute. I'll get a cup and that. And one of the key rings. And yeah, if you want to help us financially, please do. If you want to join, that'd be even better. nationalhousingparty.uk is the website. You can join on there for as little as £11 a year. That's for if you're unwaged. But we do need leaflets, and we've got all these elections coming up. So we've just ordered 15,000 leaflets. So all the donations you are giving to us goes to donations. They don't go on flash cars. They don't go on prostitutes. They don't go on drugs. They don't go on gambling debts. They don't go on flash cars and stuff. So please donate to us if you want to help us save this country, one council seat at a time. We're just humble Christian British nationalists. That's all we are. And we're trying our best. And we don't want any interference from foreign powers. We're a UK first party. We don't get Zionist money. We don't get other money from other anti-British organisations. So I'll hand it over to you, John.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much. Come on, everyone. Listen, we want some money for leaflets. Like we said, 99.999% of our money goes on leaflets. There is a small cost for website. Everyone knows that. And that's it. Everyone gives their time free as well. So please donate to us. The PayPal link, sir. And even if you're a member of Reform, you should be donating for us, because you know I get around and you know I do things. I don't want you shaking my hand when I see you or anything, saying I'm doing well without donating to us, because that's two-faced, that. Because you won't be shaking my hand if you didn't think that I did good things, and I got that in Birmingham. So I want some of you lot donating to the National Housing Party, please. You don't have to tell anyone, but you should be donating. We're doing things. We're actually doing things. And no matter who I talk to, they know about the National Housing Party, including the lefties. And I don't mean on a bad way. I've had a couple come up, and one lad who was venomously against me a few years ago. He loves the leaflet, and he loves that we want to sort out housing for British citizens. He's well on that course, but he's a lefty. He disagrees with a lot of the other stuff, but he agrees on that. And I seen him the other day, and you know what? He gave me a tenner. Right? Because he knows we're doing things. He knows we're buying leaflets, thousands of leaflets. He watches the streams. So get donating to us. We're definitely worth every penny. We're making big tracks in various places across the country. You know this all the time, and you've seen the stuff we've done. We have brought to light, Pat McGuinness have brought to light the UN 1951 Refugee Convention. And until my dying days, no one will ever say that it wasn't him, because it was him. You know what I mean? I know that because I did the campaigns with him. So don't think you can, take the credit, Pat McGuinness. That's where the credit goes for the UN 1951 Refugee Convention. And he showed that to Alistair. And Alistair's, changed a lot of his view on things, hasn't he, Pat? Alistair, he said that to us on streams, that when Pat showed him that refugee went through a couple of things, he's had to rethink a lot of the stuff that he said. And Alistair said that on this stream. So that's the kind of effect. So we want some donations, guys, please. Share us far and wide. Please get onto my YouTube as well. Comment on some of my videos. lots of videos to comment on. Please comment and share some of my videos. Interact with me online, and that will give us money. That will eventually give us money. So come on, please share the stream. Check everything out. Check us out. Look at what we're doing. Like Pat said, it's a really good thing right now. Everyone's full of patriotism. And I've even got a team of lads who've got a ban and that, and they wanted to like start putting flags up. So I helped them on my street. We did some videos, and they're still up. The flags are still up. We've got Andy Burnham coming to Oldham next month, going up where he's coming. I tell you, you watch. And these lads are just going around putting flags up. People are giving them a few quid here and there. Then they're just reinvesting it, getting flags and doing it again. And they've been all around Oldham. And I'm guessing it's the same in every town across the country. Wales, the same in down London. The local people want these flags up. And, you know, they want to feel patriotism. We're forgotten, and we're on the end of the foot. Nobody wants Britain. Nobody wants to know anything about us, and everything that we've ever done is bad. That's the climate these days. Even before this time, when I early days as an activist 20 years ago, I always felt that the West is under attack from the rest of the world. Socialism, communism, and the Chinese bloc, we're under attack. And now when I get to this stage, it's even worse. It's even worse that the white dude's under attack as well as the West. And it's shocking, and it shouldn't be like this. You know, we've got a big history, like Paul said. We talked about our flags, Athelstan, and all this. We talked about them thousands of years old. All this and leading up to who we are now, our culture, the kind of people we are in the United Kingdom. And it's a really proud thing, you know, and I feel proud. I do feel proud. And I'm not hijacking anything. I just feel proud for the British Empire. The stuff we did in the past, and of course, the stuff we continue to do in this day and age. Don't ever,
Here, John. Here.
People say that we don't do enough for the rest of the world. We've done it for years and years, and giving the world the industrial revolution that's made everyone and be able to eat and sleep and do whatever. But yeah, go over to you, Paul.
Well, we brought peace and prosperity to the whole globe. That's the truth. So the estimate that nearly 3 million flags are being put up across the British Isles. 3 million. Now, there's opposition to this, isn't there? There's people going round. They all look like school teachers. I don't know why, taking these flags down as some sort of green-haired lefty types. And but what really dismays me is what you get on X and in politics is like the Muslim community and other ethnic minorities slagging off the British, putting us down, saying that we're causing division. I mean, Keir Starmer's doing it. The whole Labour Party are doing it. They're saying that somehow this is dirty and it's seedy and it's unwelcome. We're not causing division. We're trying to unite this United Kingdom, bring it together again. We need borders put up. All these people who want to attack us, they don't believe in borders. They promote the invasion of our land and its colonization. They are the enemy within, and they are the enemy in Westminster, and we need to get them out. As Pat said, the future's bright because we've woken up. This is the important thing. We've woken up, and what the battle is now engaged. We're involved in a war here, a war against those who want to destroy us and push us aside. People know about the Kalergi plan and his plan to replace us in our own island, to dispossess us. And Pat talked about the housing. It's so difficult for British people to get social housing now in our own country. It's being given to foreigners. Our government is not patriotic. Keir Starmer just tells lies. He just gaslights. It's all false. He wants to destroy this country. The Labour government are the enemies of the British people. And therefore, we're going to chase them out of power like there's no tomorrow. But in this battle, you need the spirit. You can't be passive. You've got to be active. You've got to be engaged. You've got to be on the demos. You've got to raise the flag. You've got to speak your mind. This is why X has proved so important, and YouTube, and Donald Trump, because he's allowed us free speech again to express ourselves. And I want to talk about one group on these islands, the Welsh. And you might say the Welsh aren't represented on the flag. The flag of Wales is the red dragon. It's the flag of Henry Tudor, the battle flag of Henry Tudor, the red dragon on a green and white background. That red dragon came over to Britain with the Romans. The Roman legions brought it over. It was a symbol of war. It was a martial symbol. And it also symbolized the passion of the Welsh. That's why they adopted it, a fighting people. Pat talked about our Christian roots. Of course, these islands go back 15,000 years. The ancient peoples, the indigenous peoples of this island, the blood that flows through our veins. As the Ice Age receded, we came into these islands, and 80% of our DNA goes back to these original settlers. So we predate Christianity. We don't predate God, because God created everything. But we predate. The Christian religion came to Britain 2,000 years ago, not long after Christ. But we had ancient flags before. Obviously, I talked about the Roman legions, their red eagle, which was adopted by the Welsh. Now, why aren't the Welsh on the Union flag? The truth is they are. In 1536, England and Wales became one country under Henry VIII. And the reason for that is that he did away with the Marcher Lords. Anyone heard of the Marcher Lords? They were the lords that controlled Wales after the Norman invasion. They're based in Shrewsbury, Hereford, Monmouth, Chester. And the Welsh were basically a subject people to the Normans. And it was Henry VIII who said, no, we're going to give the Welsh full rights, including the right to speak their own language, but most importantly, the right to be part of the political process in Britain, to be part of the legal process, to have legal protection under the Magna Carta, to have the right to trial by jury, to be true subjects of England and Wales. So Wales was incorporated into the English county system in 1536. Wales was only created as a nation in the 1950s. Before then, it was a principality. There was never a king of Wales. There was only a prince of Wales. The three flags on the Union flag represent the three kingdoms: England, Scotland, and Ireland. Wales wasn't a kingdom. But Wales, the red dragon. And why did the Welsh choose the red dragon? Because the Saxons brought the white dragon. The Saxons were a pagan people, and they fought to control these islands with the white dragon. The Welsh raised the red dragon, which in many ways is still the symbol of our nation, that red dragon, because it was Henry Tudor who became the king who united all the kingdoms. And so this fighting spirit is important in the British, because we're going to need it now. We have enemies, as I say. We have people who don't like the flags going up. We have people who don't want open borders, they want open borders. We have people who are deceiving us, the deceivers. But it was Christianity that really created this civilization, taught us to read and write, taught us good government, and gave us the strength and the civilization to project ourselves across the globe. I mean, Donald Trump is here today, President of the United States of America, the strongest nation on earth. But we founded America. George Washington, the first president, was the son of an Englishman. America was founded by the British people. It was our colonies, the 13 colonies. They fought for their independence because they had that independent spirit, which came from Presbyterianism and which came from, the Celtic nations. But also, the Americans speak our language, and our language is the language of the world. So this flag doesn't just represent us. It represents British civilization and English language, which is spread around the world. As John said earlier, the British Empire, we did good works. Joseph Conrad, who was a Polishman, an author who wrote The Heart of Darkness, he said, wherever you see the Union flag, you know that good work is being done. We're a decent people. We're a fair people. We're a soft-hearted people in many ways, a gentle people, but we're not soft in the head. And this is why we've got to toughen up the British. And this is why we're toughening up. John, do you want to speak? You're on mute, John. You're on mute.
Yeah, you've had some history with flags, Paul. Maybe we should have a policy in about flags and county flags and stuff like that. But didn't you refuse to put a kind of flag up, or wanted a certain flag put up? What was that?
No, I went past the police station, the local police station, which normally flies the Union flag. This was 2011 or 12, and they had the gay flag, the rainbow flag flying above it, you know, which is an abuse of the Christian rainbow. But I went into the police station. I mean, this was a long time ago. I wasn't sure what the flag was, why it was there. And I asked them why the flag was flying above the police station, not the Union flag. And they said they were supporting the International Day Against Homophobia. I said, what's that got to do with the police? This is the power of flags. And she said, I'm not answering questions like that. I said, well, do you believe in right and wrong? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, I don't believe that flag should be above the police station. The police should not be promoting the gay flag. And she said, that's, it's nothing to do with me. And I walked out the police station and I was arrested by the police and charged with homophobia. But I fought back and I won the case and I counterattacked because I found out the police can't just fly any flag above the police station. It's supposed to be the flag of our national saints or the Union flag. And they didn't have permission to fly that flag. So I actually countercharged the police with illegally flying a flag above the police station. And it went to court. And the judge initially found it in my favour. And it went to High Court, it went to the Crown Court. And it was a certain Keir Starmer, head of the Crown Prosecution Service at the time, who intervened and stopped me prosecuting the police for illegally flying the gay flag. Keir Starmer, of course, he really embraces the gay flag with a passion. You know, he's now pretending to be a British patriot. He flies the Union Jack behind him. But when he was in opposition, he was on every gay rights parade going. And he was carrying the gay flag and the trans flag and other flags, which we cannot be proud of, should not be in this land, because this is as Pat said, is a Christian land. We value the family in Britain, and we need to raise up the family. We're not going to persecute anyone, but we're not going to let people promote agendas which are against the young people and the nation. And it's good that we have the Union flag because it is a Christian flag. It stands for Christian morals, Christian sense of right and wrong. And people should learn the 10 Commandments again. Since Charlie Kirk was murdered in that brutal fashion, people have started to go back to church. Sadly, a lot of churches are very woke, but you got to look around and find a proper church which speaks the word of truth. And the truth is this: Christianity is the basis of a healthy society. Honor your mother and father. Do not murder. Do not steal. Lift up the name of God. Raise your children with values, good values, teaching the difference between right and wrong. Worship God. Don't worship the things of this world. Don't worship the devil. Worship what is holy and good, and then you will prosper. This is the promise that the Bible makes to our nation. And it's a promise that people in this nation have embraced for 2,000 years. And it gave us great strength. The moment we turned away from the Bible, the corruption was in the church as well as outside of it. The moment we turned away from the word of God and started to doubt it and to cast it aside, that was the downfall of this nation. We started to slip then. And unless we return to God, we will slip all the way into hell and our own destruction. This is a real wake-up call now. When you see the Union Jack flying, remember that cross in the middle is the cross of Christ. Christ died for our sins. His blood washes us clean. And for those who repent, it says in the Bible, turn back to God. Humble yourself, confess your sins, turn back to God, and you will be lifted up. And that's what we need in this nation. That's what's happening now. I mean, it's amazing that someone like Tommy Robinson with such a checkered background is now proclaiming Jesus. He's now seeking Jesus. I mean, we need, there's two people joined Reform yesterday. They were both Christians from the Conservative Party. We need Christianity in all our institutions and right across the board. But the National Housing Party was founded as a Christian nationalist party, and it's been a beacon of light to every patriot. We don't look to foreign powers. We don't look to foreign ideologies. We don't look to antichrist religions. We look at our own heritage, and we look at the spirit of this nation through the ages, which is a Christian spirit. And we hope that everyone who's rallying to defend our nation and save our nation, the British tribe, arise as one under God. It said in the Civil War, the days of Oliver Cromwell, the people under God are sovereign, not the people without God, because the people without God are lost. But the people under God are sovereign in this nation. We're not looking to the king. We're not looking to the conventional parties. We're looking to the people to rally now. Rally like they did in the past, the peasant rebellion. Rally against the forces of darkness and save this land. Pat?
Yeah, I mean, did you want to say something, John?
A couple of things. So the other week, a couple of lads said they wanted to do put some flags up where they suggested. I said my street, and so we met at Weatherspoons and we headed to my street. And then I found out that the police had seen a post on Facebook, and then the boss of licensing in Oldham Council has said there's going to be a riot or a protest. And that's not what was said on the post. We ended up putting the flags up. And I said on a video, said, you better, if I see someone taking them down, you better have a piece of paper with a wet signature on, because you're not going to take them flags down. And I think that's the same sentiment up and down the street. And my street's multicultural. I've talked to them all. I've been to the bottom, half a dozen of us, all the way up the street, knocked on every door and talked to everyone in the area. No one's offended. You know what I mean? And so, we've done that. I was a bit angry, but now I know who said this. I can email them as a wannabe running councillor in Oldham and voice my objections to them, saying there's going to be a riot or a protest over a thing about flags. You couldn't make it up, but Oldham are well known for making a mountain out of a molehill. They're well done. I just wanted to, the last 15 minutes, and I think we can all say something. I want to say something about this Charlie Kirk thing. And like what it's portrayed in the political spectrum is that like right-leaning people are violent. That's what they always say, but I don't want to say right-leaning. But the people like us who have the opinions we do on immigration are violent people. But the left will never admit to the amount of violence that they do and the way that they attack people, not just through violence, how they shut them down and make them lose their jobs and form people's schools and set something like that. It's so much more prevalent on the left that, and you can understand this if you learn about left and right, like political spectrum and them kind of people. You learn about it, and it's just awful. But what we've seen, we haven't seen any riots, any shops being burnt down or anything. But obviously, when George Floyd done, a career criminal, America burned, and London was, and England was on its way to go like that as well. And so you can see the difference in the two different types of people. The Conservatives are just not that violent. You know, they're not like that on the left. Otherwise, you know, we'd be burning businesses down. But, you know, any kind of violence against anyone is not okay, whether the left, right, centre. And I do not condone any of that. But anybody who relishes off it and says it was a good thing because he didn't like that person politically, then you're sorry excuses of human beings. That's what I'm going to say. Really sorry excuses of human beings. I never got brought up with my Church of England values to be anything like that, and anything like that, not me. And a lot of the people I know are not like that. That's not how we got brought up. But I just wanted to get that in. But what are your thoughts on this Charlie Kirk thing, guys?
Well, let me just say one thing quickly about the flag. So, what I find really interesting is you know, Paul said about the rainbow flag started to creep in on government buildings. What was that, in like 2012, something like that? And gradually, you know, we just kept seeing more and more of these like anti-Christian, you know, foreign flags. You know, you had the rainbow flag, which is an anti-Christian organization. The LGBT agenda is anti-Christian. They celebrate sex outside of marriage. John released a video on his channel the other day of they went to the church in Oldham and it was flying the rainbow flag on the church. And this is not an isolated incident. I've seen it loads of times. And this is just unbelievable that these so-called Christians can do this, because it is literally celebrating anything goes sex outside of marriage. And Christianity, one of the big things about it is marriage between a man and a woman to create a family, and you shouldn't have sex before the marriage or outside the marriage. So these flags started to creep in. Then we start seeing, you know, the Ukrainian flag. Even the other day, I drove through Parliament Square at Whitehall. There's Ukrainian flags on all the major government buildings. I mean, what is this all about? It's obviously an agenda going on. There's big forces what have taken over our country, because I don't think many people want to see that flag on our government buildings. This is the UK. This is not Ukraine. Then you've got other instances where you'll see the Israeli flag being flown. We don't want to see that. And obviously, with what's going on in Palestine, obviously, I've got sympathy for women and children being massacred, but I don't want to see the Palestinian flag on our streets. This is our country. And, you know, there's no need for us to see this flag on our streets. So all these like different flags are encroaching on our culture, our traditions, our nation. And I think people are now saying, no, this is not right. And this is why all the flags are going up. We've had enough of it. We want to celebrate our nation and our faith, which is Christianity. So things are changing, you know, big things are going to happen. You know, Reform are probably going to get into his next government, but there's been a big split there. You've got the Advanced UK going to split that, and that could leave a gap for a genuine Christian nationalist party to break through. Who knows? So it's all looking interesting. The Lib Lab Con was finished anyway. They were literally falling apart. You got Corbyn's party emerging, which is going to completely destroy the Labour Party, especially in areas where I live, because to be honest with you, that will just the only voters who will continue to vote for Keir Starmer's Labour will be like the middle class kind of, you know, upper middle class sort of people, because the trans lobby will go to Corbyn's party. He's openly said trans rights are human rights, which is an anti-Christian concept. They're also open borders. So yeah, it's all up for grabs. I think in the next couple of years, 3 years, it's all changing. I just want to see the flags continue to go up. And when I've had an accident recently in my hand, and as soon as it's better, I'm going to contact the boys in South Islington, and I'm going to volunteer to go on a flag raising mission in the middle of the night. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get some flags up in my local area. So I recommend that everyone should do that. We should all support people trying to do it. And let's make it like Northern Ireland, like 24/7, flags everywhere. Because, you know, it's a beautiful sight. It's who we are. and we're under attack. There's no doubt about that. We are under attack by all sides, you know, and we've got to stand up and defend ourselves. So, but yeah, Charlie Kirk thing. Whoa, lots of conspiracy theories there. You know, we've seen lots of videos. Charlie Kirk speaking out against Israel, saying that Jewish organizations are funding these anti-Christian Marxist organizations. You know, it's all out on video. He was rejecting the war in Gaza, saying that this is now war crimes. This is out of control. He even said that October the 7th looked like it was allowed to happen to give them the excuse to do what they're doing now, which is war crimes. And we're funding it through our tax money, which is disgusting. Also, allegedly, Netanyahu offered a massive donation to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA organization, which he refused. And I don't think that would have gone down very well with the Zionist regime in Tel Aviv. So I'm not sure if they were too happy with Charlie Kirk. And let's be honest, Charlie Kirk was the leader of the Christian revival in America. You know, I know that Christianity is big in America, but it was rescinding as well, so it did need a revival, and it is getting a revival. And Netanyahu's desperate to have them on his side, and Kirk rejected it with that, obviously refusing the donation. So, you know, and I've said this before to somebody, that if Mossad did do the assassination, they wouldn't just do it, they would set something up where somebody else is to blame for it. That's exactly what they would do when these things happen. JFK, you know, they
9/11.
Yeah, they have to put someone there to blame that everyone thinks done it. So this guy.
What's interesting, Pat, is the FBI are now saying there was a whole organization behind this killer, Tyler Robinson. There was money. And what struck me was, this was all posted online before Charlie Kirk arrived in Utah. The threats to kill him, they were boasting that they were ready to assassinate him. There was a lot of money involved. Obviously, Tyler Robinson needed a weapon. He had backup. He wasn't a lone gunman. But I mean, these trans people, they can be used and abused. I mean, this is the thing, they call it entrapment. The same with 9/11. You get the evil people and you make sure they're able to do things. Why weren't they stopped? Why wasn't the proper security around Charlie Kirk? Why weren't these threats to kill him taken seriously? Surely the intelligence agencies knew there was a scheme to assassinate him, just like they knew 9/11 was about to happen. Why didn't they blow the whistle? Why didn't they take preventative measures? This is the real issue. Now, getting back to the flags, you said before about putting the flags in Ireland. It was good to see the tricolour at this day in London on Saturday. The tricolour was created by a guy called William Smith O'Brien, who was actually a Protestant, not a Catholic, for the Republican movement. And it represents, the green represents the Republican movement, orange represents the loyalist community in Ireland, and the white represents peace between the two. But we want to save Ireland in the same predicament as us. They've been sold out to the globalists, and we need each other. We need to come back together. All of the people of these islands, the British Isles. The truth is, we're family. We're one blood. In the 19th century, we all moved into the cities, places like Liverpool, Manchester, the East End of London, the whole of London, the whole of England, really. So many, Birmingham, Newcastle. The Irish came and settled in our cities and mixed in. We all mixed together. Glasgow became a centre of Scots and Irish and English. And it was the same right across these islands, in Belfast and even in Dublin. We integrated as a people. We are one blood. We go back, not just to the Reformation, which divided us on religious grounds, not just to the Norman conquest, which divided us on political grounds. The people of these islands go back 15,000 years. We've moved around these islands like a spinning washing machine. The people have moved. The Scots were an Irish tribe. Why did the Scots speak English? Because the southern Scottish kingdom, Lothian, became a Saxon kingdom. The Welsh, I've got a lot of Welsh heritage. The Welsh moved into England, and Liverpool, part of our accent comes from the Welsh. We've all mixed. I always say the only real division amongst the peoples of the British Isles are the accents. We have different accents. And if you're a Cockney and you have children and you come to live in Liverpool, your kids will speak with the Scouse accent. This is just the reality. So we're one people and we've got to get together. Bring your different flags. Bring the flag of Northern Ireland, the red hand. Bring the tricolour. Bring the Welsh dragon. Bring the saltire. Bring the St. George's cross. Bring the royal enzyme if you want, with its harp. That's the ancient flag of Ireland. The 3 lines. Again, this all goes back into our history. All these symbols have great meaning, The 3 lines, or leopards, they really are. The line, the line rampant, the Scottish flag of Robert the Bruce. We all have a shared history. We all have mixed blood in these islands. I've got Scottish blood, and Pat's got Scottish blood. So John's got mixed blood, and we've got Welsh blood and Irish blood, and of course people came over from the Empire, and John's proof of that, and mixed in. But we don't want to be colonised. We don't want to be taken over. The number of people coming here, it's all about numbers. It's absolutely ridiculous. And as Pat said earlier, and John, the UN Convention of 1951, which gave these people, basically destroyed our border. We have to leave that. Reform, if they get into power, I've got to take us out to the European Court of Human Rights. They've got to take us out to the UN Convention of 1951. They've got to change the laws of this country so we can deport people. Look at this nonsense now with Labour, 1 in, 1 out. No, the flights have already stopped. No one's getting taken out. Labour are just liars. But Reform are going to need English patriots behind them because they're going to face real opposition. And that's when we'll see the truth of the British. That's when we'll really assert ourselves. That's when parties like the National Housing Party will come to the fore, because we have the ideas and the heart to save this nation. We don't compromise. And we need that spirit to save Britain. We need that spirit to give our children a future in our country. We've got to assert that this is our land and we're reclaiming it. John?
Amen.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Very interesting. We come up to our hour, guys. Please, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, follow our links and all that. Our PayPal's up. Come on, guys, please. There is people out there who want to do the right thing. Then we're doing the right thing. So donate to us. We're not no silly thing. We're not organising demonstrations where people are going to. We're not doing that. We're just focusing on local elections. And we've been busy all the way through. So come on, join us, support us, and donate to us. Any last words, Pat?
No, thanks for watching, everyone. And as you all know, we have our regular live stream every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. If you've got any topics you are interested in and you would like to contribute to our live stream, you can contact us and we will consider having you on. But most importantly, if you want to stand in local elections, please contact us. Email us, admin@nationalhousingparty.uk, or you can DM me on Twitter. My Twitter is @NHPUKofficial. So yeah, that's about it really. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the legendary, mighty Paul Rimmer with some of our history. And we have talked about this before. And, there's no doubt that the UK has a rich history, a very, very rich history. And We should never forget that, and we should be proud of our flag, no matter what's happened in the past. But we should be right now, we should be more proud of it now than we've ever been, because we're an exceptional country and we've done exceptional things in the world, no matter what anyone else will tell you. God bless and good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.